Hey guys, welcome back to Contest Prep University. I'm Klemczewski with Adam Atkinson, and we're going to start a new series on plateaus. And I think this is going to be a great series, Adam, because there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of, almost pain around, why am I stuck? What should I do? I'm doing everything I think right. And so I know you and I both probably, mentally or maybe even with a physical list, kind of trying to check, okay, let's check this, let's do this, what are you doing here? And we just kind of go through exactly all of the causes. And so let's do that with our audience. Let's go through exactly what we would each do first. And for me, if somebody is stuck, I immediately look at the objective data. So first of all, as we've talked about in the past, if somebody says they didn't lose any this week, is it just because they're comparing Friday's weight to Friday's weight and the net average weight? They may have lost a pound and they're just not looking at the right data. But I love to look at the cumulative history. I'm looking at their weight loss from 6 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. I'm looking at trends. I'm looking at their calorie and macronutrient profile fluctuations. I'm looking for weekends they may have had a wedding or they went on a vacation. And so you can't immediately just have a knee-jerk reaction where it's like, okay, you have a plateau, let's cut calories. It's, first assess the lay of the land and let's really understand what the data says. So what do you do that may be a little bit different?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is when a client is stuck is also just teaching them that that's actually kind of a beautiful thing. And it's the last thing they want to hear. But we wouldn't exist today if we didn't have these metabolic adaptations that have allowed us to survive and thrive for, hundreds and thousands of years. So again, not the thing they want to hear, but these plateaus happen simply for survival and the reasons of metabolic adaptation. Now, there's some issues with that. Sometimes tracking just isn't accurate. So if I've maybe moved a client's intake 2 weeks ago, I would expect them to lose still. So there could be, a lack of sleep. There's a lot of things that can swing data. Maybe they have food source change. Maybe they're eating something that's too good to be true. So I really want to dig into the food if I would expect them to lose. Now, there are times where we've been moving at a good pace and I would expect to slow down by now because I honestly expected it 2 weeks ago, So you just know we need to change those calories. So it really comes down to being objective. When someone doesn't lose for 1 week, that might not be a good time to move. If they don't lose for 2 weeks, now you're losing time, and that's where it's really important to dig in.
So you just did a great job of pretty much going through my entire outline of the series, because every single one of those topics you just mentioned, I think, are incredibly important. And anybody's potential plateau is going to be in one of those areas you described. And so, that's why I said looking at all of that objective data first, looking at any reasons why it may be completely normal. You brought up a big one about just normal metabolic adaptation. You've been dieting a little bit, your body composition is changing, your body weight is coming down, so your body just becomes more efficient. It doesn't take as many calories to move you around. It's become a really big, topic in the industry, that the fact that even your NEAT, your non-exercise, thermogenic activity does reduce. As soon as you are hungrier in a calorie deficit and your energy levels go down, you just don't move as much. You don't fidget as much. You don't get up from your chair as often. And so a lot of these things are really impacting metabolism, which we're going to talk about. But it really does come down to first understanding, Adam, you brought up the word accuracy. Are you really putting down on paper what is going in your body? So that's a tough conversation to have sometimes with people, but how do you address that? Just briefly, how do you talk about that with a client?
Very, very tiptoe approach with that, because I never want anyone to think that they're doing that on purpose, or I never want to come off as I'm accusing somebody. And I usually state that right from the beginning. I'm not accusing you, but it's very easy to while you're meal prepping. I've had clients say, oh my gosh, I do that. I eat the leftover chicken that just doesn't fit in my portion control. We see this all the time, and it usually just starts from day one that we don't catch until it gets hard for them to lose. And then that little bit of chicken is what we need to cut out to get them going the rest of the way. It worked up until now. And it's great when you find those treasures that's like, oh, here's a mistake that we can easily fix. It would have been better had we cut from the beginning. I recently had a client who was counting net carbs. I kid you not. So every time we made a change, we were losing. But then we just got down to everything. I looked at a food log recently. I was like, oh my gosh, like we need to change everything.
Yeah, I mean, no matter how you cut it, this is a sport of precision, and those little things add up. And so, you know, just to wrap up episode 1 of this series in Plateau, you know, you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not being accurate. And maybe it's not intentional, but sometimes you have to uncover some of those mistakes that are happening. So I'm looking forward, Adam, to the next couple episodes, because we're really going to dig into some of these topics deeply and make sure everybody can move forward. So thank you guys for watching and listening, and we'll catch you next time in Contest Prep University.